Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the HOU Bullcast. I'm your host, Aaron, and I'm thanking you once again for joining me on this episode that we have going live. I know this may be a delayed episode because the game was Sunday night, and I know everybody gets their videos out Monday or even Tuesday, but I know this is going to be uploaded today on tomorrow on Wednesday because I'm making this on Tuesday night. But, we move on. Things in life happens, and, we'll work on a video and work on a video. But shout out to JDW and the JDW Sports Network channel. Shout out to my boy DJ Be Cool. They are the reason why I do what I do for y'all. They are my partners with this work I do for y'all, and I want to make content for y'all as much as I can. And shout out to Saw Sports, shout out to Honcho, shout out to Wink, shout out to Spitz, shout out to the rest of the crew. They're the reason why I do this. Show love, go show love to Saw Sports, go show love to Spitz's channel. They make so much great Texans content, and there's just a big shout out to them because they're the reason why I do it. They're the reason why I make Texans content, and they're the reason why I do it for y'all because they made content and videos for me to watch, and that's why I want to do it too. But let's get into it, guys. We got the now 8-5 Houston Texans, who are now the seventh seed in the playoffs. They went into Arrowhead and defeated the now 6-7 Kansas City Chiefs. This is an important game. Um, if Kansas City won, they would have been right there in the playoff hunt above us. We would have been, if we lost, we would have been 7-6. Yeah, we would have been 7-6, and we'd honestly be drastically about like having a 30% chance of getting in the playoffs because if we didn't win this game, our percentage is going low. But because we beat the Chiefs, our percentage is about 80% of getting into the playoffs because of who we got coming up in our schedule. So this is a dominant win. This is a must win game, especially when you know you can eliminate the Chiefs from the playoffs. It hasn't eliminated them yet, but the Chiefs have a 12% chance of getting into the playoffs now, and it is all thanks to us. I know Denver Bronco fans are happy. I know Patriot fans are happy. I know the rest of the AFC in general is happy just knowing that the Chiefs have this small of a chance of getting into the playoffs, and that's thanks to the Houston Texans defeating them 20-10 in Kansas City in Arrowhead on Sunday Night Football prime time. Honestly, overall, the game pretty much was the Houston Texans, this Houston Texans offense, this Houston Texans defense, and the Houston Texans special teams facing the Kansas City Chiefs fans, the Kansas City Chiefs weather in that stadium, that loud stadium. Uh, Great loud fans until the fourth quarter when you saw half their seats gone. Nobody's sitting down. It was empty. But it's also facing Andy Reid. It's facing Spagnola, that great defense he holds with his scheme of the game plan. He's a Super Bowl defense coordinator for a reason. And also going up against the refs. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But we have a history with losing the Kansas City Chiefs, especially in Arrowhead or even in Energy. We have such a bad history, from the 2019 24-0 lead, which still hurts us. The playoffs last year with the referees helping them out. People could say the referees didn't, but they did, coming from a Texans fan. So we have a bad history. We have a bad record against the Chiefs, especially with Patty Mahomes at the helm at quarterback. But with this win on Sunday night, it honestly erased all of that. The way we won, the way we know we pretty much eliminated them from playoff contention, because like I said, that they only have about a 12% chance of getting in the playoffs. They got to win out, and they got to hope that maybe the Chargers lose out. The Chargers won against the Eagles last night on Monday night, so the Chiefs have such a bad percentage chance now of getting in the playoffs. Denver's in the lead in their division. Chargers are second. The Chiefs need the most miracle crap to happen for them to get in the playoffs. And honestly, we all know that it's not going to happen. This end of consecutive playoff appearances from the Chiefs, these Super Bowl appearances, it's over. And why? Because the Houston Texans went into Arrowhead and defeated them. And all these other NFL teams can thank us for that. But let's get into it with stat wise, and as I always do, we're gonna get into play by play wise, quarter by quarter wise. So let's get into it. With the offense, stat wise, CJ Stroud, he had a decent game. Uh, yeah, I'll say he had a decent game, decent but good game. Where situational wise, he still made the plays, and we'll get into each play that he made happen, whether it was by his feet, by his vision, by his awareness. So yeah, but CJ, he went 15 for 31. Passing wise, he had 203 passing yards with one touchdown. Honestly, I feel he could have had more than one touchdown because there was that honestly open pass to Christian Kirk, and I believe the third quarter, no, fourth quarter. Uh, and honestly, if you would have dotted Christian Kirk, it would have been a touchdown. I honestly believe that. I think he should have had one more touchdown or just more touchdowns in general. It was just we'll get into it, but like the defense helped this offense with situational, with good position in on the field, and once again, the offense doesn't do crap with the ball when we have it in good field position. And I'll get into the interceptions, I'll get into the turnover on downs and all that. We'll get into it. But running back wise, Woody Marks 20 he had 26 attempts for 68 rushing yards, averaging about 2.6 yards per carry. He also had two catches for 8 yards passing receiving wise for one touchdown. That was our first touchdown in the game. So good job to Woody. But 26 attempts is crazy. Uh, Nick Chubb, I don't know really what happened to him. I got to get more into what happened to him. But he was out for the rest of the game. Woody went down. In the fourth. Yeah, he went down in the fourth, and honestly, he's just been playing hurt, and I honestly fear that with him playing hurt, Woody is gonna go down even worse. Like he's just I don't know. He's just playing too hurt right now. We're giving him too much to handle, and I'm scared that one of these games he's gonna get really banged up, really too banged up to where he can't even start. And because of him being hurt in the fourth quarter, in a situational drive on the Kansas City Chiefs 5 yard line, we were like, okay, Woody's down. Who are we bringing up as backup? And out of nowhere, you see Dare Ogunbowale, number 33, run onto the field, and you're just already like, oh, brother, here we go again. We know it's going to be probably a play action pass or passing play for Dare to block or Dare be a safety valve. Even Chris Collinsworth was even saying, oh, Dare Ogunbowale, he doesn't have no experience with being in this kind of drive. And Chris Collinsworth is a terrible announcer. Everybody knows this. He rides the hell out of the Chiefs way too hard. He loves Patrick Mahomes as if that's his first ever love or something like as if I don't know what's up Chris Collinsworth, but that dude needs to retire or something because his commentary on Sunday Night Football is terrible when Patrick Mahomes is on the field, or even if he isn't on the field, he somehow still brings up Patrick Mahomes. Even when CJ wasn't making great plays, you still hear him saying, "Oh, maybe Patrick Mahomes can come back and make a play that looks better than what CJ did." And you're just like, "What the hell is this guy talking about?" But at the 5 yard line, you see Darius number come in. He's on the right side of CJ in shotgun, and on the 5 yard line, Darius gets the ball with one carry, runs it in for a crucial touchdown, which was in the fourth quarter, and we'll get into that once we get into the quarters play by play. And it was just a crucial touchdown, and thank you to Dari. I've hated you all season because of what you did against the Rams, uh, with your terrible blocking against Tampa Bay. So this is kind of a I forgive you type message to him. But let's get into receiving. Nico Collins, he had four catches for 121 yards. He honestly had 100 yards in just the fourth quarter, which is great. In the first quarter, I mean, which is crazy. Uh, but he had a good game. But honestly, it was all in the first quarter that he went off because the rest of the game he was just quiet. Like because his first ever catch, which was that 46-yard bomb from CJ to Nico, Trent McDuffie got hurt on that exact play. And honestly, I believe after that, they just kept double covering Nico. So that sucks that Nico can't average more because he's getting double covered. They can't get the ball to Nico because that's all the Chiefs defense is looking at. Like they're trying to make sure that Nico doesn't kill them. But he still got 121 yards. I believe if McDuffie wasn't hurt, Nico would have had way more yardage if they didn't double cover him the way they did. Next receiver is Jaden Higgins. He had three catches for 34 yards. He had a good game. Don Schultz, he had three catches for 22 yards. You know, so we utilized the ball, passing it to any weapon we had. We used everybody, honestly. We used Christian, Nico, Jaden Higgins, Dalton, even Jalen Noel. We used everybody in Arrowhead trying to execute any play, any situational play, which a lot of times it looked good, but a lot of times it executed badly, and we'll get into it. The offensive line overall had given honestly, in general, the offensive line, they looked great in the first half. They looked good. They were giving CJ time in the pocket. It was just based off of execution. If the plays died, whether it was an incompletion or anything like that. But it was the second half that kind of gave us hell. Overall, though, the Chiefs had 3 sacks against this offensive line. So not terrible, not terrible. So the offensive line was still holding their own. But Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, and everybody else on the defensive line were giving that offensive line hell. They were giving CJ Hill, they were giving Nick Haley and the play calls hell with these heavy blitzes in the second half because they knew if they threw all they had at CJ, he had no time to really get the ball out. He had no time to execute or be aware of what he wanted to do. And it was pissing me off whenever all these heavy blitzes happened because we weren't adjusting to these heavy blitzes that they were throwing at us. And it's one of those things where D'Amico needs to get on Nick Haley, and Nick Haley needs to go to CJ, being like, "Okay, this is what we got to do." And they weren't doing that all third quarter, which was the most terrible quarter of this whole game. But we'll get into that. But to me, though, the offensive line held their own in the first half, and they did. They also held their own in the fourth quarter. It was just the third quarter, uh, and about midway through the second quarter, that kind of midway through the second quarter and all the way into the third quarter, it was kind of shaky at best with the offensive line, but they still held their own. And Ingram and Jake Andrews, they were getting beat bad by Chris Jones. Chris Jones gave them hell, and that is a train that just made a noise if you heard that. Kaimi Fairbairn, he was 2 for 2 on extra points, and he went 2 for 2 on field goals as long as being 35. And even Kaimi's coming in for revenge because he missed a was it a yeah he missed a field goal last year in the playoffs, which was crucial. So, and I'm not gonna lie, Kaimi looked like he was ready to kill somebody in this game, like because he looked so determined, he looked so good, like not even nervous, like not even being affected by the cold, nothing. He just looked ready to kick a field goal, and he made any points that he was needed on, whether it be extra point or field goal. So good job to Kaimi. He's our best kicker. Okay, let's get into the defense. Leading the defense, Kamari Lassiter, who, as I said in our preview, in our live preview with me and DJ, we Kamari was questionable with a foot injury, and we were kind of questioning ourselves: is Kamari going to play? Because a foot injury, you don't want to affect it too much. As like you saw Dan Jones, with the leg injury, you saw what happened to him against the Jaguars. Uh, so Kamari with the foot injury, you're kind of like, what's really the main issue with his foot injury? Is it bad, or is it one where he can play on? And he played on it. And at the end of the day, he had 5 tackles, 1 assist, and one great pick on a one great pick over I believe it was Hollywood Brown. Yeah, it was over Hollywood Brown. Um, from a desperation pass by Patrick Mahomes. We'll get into that once we get a playable play. And he had one great pass deflection on Thornton that should have been a touchdown, but Kamari Lassiter hit the ball out of his hands, and that was such a crucial touchdown because if they would have caught that touchdown, who even knows if this offense would have retaliated to score to take the lead? Because I do not think they would have. Next up, we honestly got 3 MVPs for the defense, and I'm going to say them right now. Jalen Petrie, he had 4 tackles, 2 assists, and one beautiful pick that when you saw it, you already know what interception it is. He was covering Juju. Uh, I believe it was a slant route. And Patrick threw it. Jalen Petrie batted it up, circled around the field of where he was at, and eyeballed it in the air. Caught it midway onto the ground, and the way they were replaying it, you felt like because you're in Kansas City, because you're against these referees and the announcers, you're thinking they're gonna call it incompletion, but no, you saw it all in Jalen Petrie's hands, all in a comfortable catch position, interception. And then the third MVP is Aziz Al Shire. This is one man that wanted revenge on the Chiefs because he got beat in the playoffs last year by bad coverage on Travis Kelsey, just bad awareness coverage by just overall like it was just a fall off on the defense last year, and Aziz did blame himself for it last year in the playoffs when we lost. But Aziz made his name known in this game. He had 1 tackle, he had 4 assists, and he had the game-ending interception on the Travis Kelsey bobble drop that landed in Aziz's hands, and you can see how emotional Aziz was. You could see how this game meant so much to him. He said it when the announcer went up to him at the end of the game asking him how much did this game mean to him, he was saying how he marked this game down no matter what our record was. Uh, he couldn't take that loss last year in the playoffs, so he knew he wanted this game as a win when you're leaving Arrowhead. And Aziz is literally the MVP of this defense. He's the leader of this defense, and I couldn't ask for a better linebacker. I couldn't ask for a better leader for this defense because when he uses his voice on this defense, the defense listens, and he's just such a great asset to this team. All right. Overall, though, we got about was it 2 sacks? Yeah, we got 2 sacks. One by Tommy Togai. I can't say his last name at all. Then you got Sheldon and Danico. They both had half a sack, which was the sack that they both got at the same time. So half a sack. So we got 2 sacks overall. And I'm not gonna lie, Daniil and Will, you thought they'd have a better game because the Chiefs had such a beat up offensive line. Their both tackles went down. Even their backup tackle, the first play of the game, went down with a season ending knee injury, and they had to put in their third string left tackle, which was his first ever debut, his first ever debut in the season in his career. And I'm not gonna lie, he did keep Daniil quiet, and it was kind of like, come on, Daniil, do something. But as the game went on, they were giving Patrick Hill, Patrick had to start running around. He just got pressured so much he was getting too many incompletions. And we're gonna get into their stats right now. Patrick Mahomes, he had 14 completions and he had 14 completions, but overall he had 33 attempts. He had 160 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. This was his worst game in his career, especially with no touchdowns in Arrowhead. He had 7 attempts on the run, 59 yards. He led his team in running, which is crazy because you see how KC doesn't give a damn about their run game. But when it comes to the run game, Kareem Hunt had 12 attempts, 30 yards, averaging about 2.5 yards per carry. He had 1 tutty. Uh, Isaiah Pacheco, he had 9 attempts for 30 yards. So, they got their yards here and there, but of course, you're not going to run on this defense. You're not, especially if you're trying to run on the edge or run up the middle. This defensive line is going to stop you immediately. Everybody runs to the ball. Everybody's going to swarm to the ball. The run game is just not gonna get anywhere. The only reason Patrick had the amount of rushing yards he had, the reason why he led this defense, led the offense in rushing yards is because he ran around when he needed to run around, making first downs, making crucial extra yardage. And it was hell to see Patrick run around. I know people say, "Oh, Josh Allen runs around too, so why couldn't you stop Patrick Mahomes?" And that's because Patrick Mahomes isn't a dumbass like Josh Allen is. Patrick Mahomes at least knows where to go, knows situationally what to do because he is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Super Bowl MVP quarterback. So he is a quarterback that it's hard to stop him. It is, but we kept him quiet, especially when not allowing him any touchdowns. It is crazy that he didn't get one single touchdown, and this defense is such a historic defense, not allowing Patrick Mahomes to get one touchdown, and this defense can lead this team somewhere special that I hope that they can. When it comes to receiving, though, Xavier Worthy had 3 catches for 55 yards. Hollywood Brown had 1 catch, 35 yards. Rasheed Rice had 4 catches for 34 yards. And Thornton had 2 catches for 19 yards. And the guy that kills us every time we play him, Travis Kelsey, he only had 1 catch for 8 yards. That is so great to hear that Travis Kelsey didn't do crap. You could tell that, like, at the end of the game, you could see how defeated Kelsey looked. You could see how down he looked. He looked like he was ready to retire after the game. He was ready to just go get married, ready to Taylor Swift. Like, it did not look like he wanted to be a part of this loss. And you could see it when he was on the bench, just dead face, just looking sad as hell. And it was just, as a Texan fan, beautiful to see because we've never seen that side of the Chiefs at the way they looked at the end of the game. Even Patrick Mahomes looked just down. And with how energetic they've always been when defeating us, yelling, going crazy, it's so great to see that we stopped this offense finally. We stopped the reign of terror that the Chiefs always give us. Uh, but it is good. It is good to see that the secondary held their own once again, as every game they have. Uh, no 100-yard receiver, no 100-yard rusher, nothing. This defense is just number one overall. But let's get into the quarter play by play, anything, any key plays that you saw, I saw. We're gonna get into it when we get into the first quarter. Overall, defense was the defense as they've always been, as they were last week, as they were the week before. Uh, Chiefs had three drives. They punted each drive. The first drive Texans had, they punted, which was kind of like, oh, here we go type of feeling with this offense because when this offense comes into Arrowhead, they struggle like hell. But second drive that they came in after a punt, immediately CJ's under center, play action, deep 46-yard pass from CJ to Nico. Beautiful pass, beautiful completion over over a Pro Bowl cornerback like Trent McDuffie. And after that play, that's when Trent McDuffie got hurt. And then that's when they started double covering Nico like hell because they did not want Nico to go off on them more than he did off of that one play. Then we were on their side of the field. There was a CJ to Dalton touchdown, but it was called for an illegal shift. Here we go, the referees. There's some illegal shift. Apparently, like you can't have two receivers move at the same time, but then they showed the replay. Nobody's even moved. There's not even two people moving at the same time. It was stupid. Uh, then you got a third and 10. CJ's running out of the pocket. He finds Jaden Higgins. Jaden Higgins makes his yardage, dives for a first down, but it was called back for a 4th and 1 because he stepped out of bounds before the first down. And we get ready to do a tush push, which I was like, oh, here we go. But Cade Stover got the first down for the 4th and 1. And then you see a flag, and you're thinking, okay, maybe it's on defense because you saw Chris Jones's helmet across the line of scrimmage, and it's like, man, that's blatantly on him. But no, they called it offsides on offense. And even though I hate Chris Collinsworth, him, glorifying the Chiefs, they were literally circling on the play of where's the flag at? What's the flag on? Like, how is it offsides on offense? Nobody was moving. Nobody was positioned wrong. So that was just a call by the refs that was just utterly bullshit. We can call it what it is. But because they moved us back to 4th and 6, it was led to a Kaimi 35-yard field goal, which was his longest of the game. Um, but yeah, first quarter, it was overall nothing much by the Chiefs offense. Us overall at the end of it was just 3 points, but it is what it is. It's just one quarter. We're adjusting. Second quarter, we was our first drive of the second quarter. Offense moved the ball down the field well, leading to a CJ to Woody Mark's 9-yard pass, and that was a beautiful play because I forgot who it was. I forgot the linebacker's name, but he was supposed to cover Woody, but he immediately went to go get CJ. CJ immediately dumped it off to his safety valve, which was Woody, which immediately led to a touchdown, which was now a 10-0 lead. Uh, Next drive for the Chiefs, 2 plays in, and here we go. Jalen Petrie, 2 plays in. It was a slant. I believe it was a slant route. Patrick saw Juju. He thought he could get it to Juju, and Jalen Petrie saw it, batted it up. And we've been questioning Jalen Petrie's coverage all year. It's always been questionable throughout the seasons. And honestly, Sunday night, Jalen Petrie showed what kind of coverage he has when this interception happened. He was all over Juju, batted it up, circled around, as I said earlier, caught it for an interception, and it was just such a beautiful interception. And then once again, here we go. Good field position. I believe it was on R48, I believe. The offense has the ball. Didn't do crap with it. They punted it away. And you're just looking like the defense did all that in 2 plays, in just 2 plays, when you can run their defense back on the field to get them tired, to get them losing momentum, and you punted back. You punted back to their offense after not doing nothing. And after you punted, I believe it was on their own 2-yard line. I don't know how the defense didn't. I don't know what happened defensively, but they literally were driving down the field, and you're like, you're there on your own 2-yard line, and you couldn't maybe get a stop, get a safety, but it is what it is. Things happen. Defensive breaks happen. Uh, but the Chiefs were driving all the way down the field. Then, I believe it was. Let me see. It was the 3rd and 5 on R22. Patrick Moses on shotgun, uh, hiked the ball, then which led to Sheldon Rankins and Nico Autry sack, give him half a sack for a loss of 3-yard line for a loss of 3, which led to Harrison Butker getting having to hit a 43-yard field goal, which he kicked, and it hit the upright of the field goal post, and it was missed. So it's still 10-0. We got good field position on our 43. Uh, and here we go with another, like last week. Here we go again with we got the ball before half, 59 seconds. We got a timeout too, which was smart by D'Amico to call timeouts when we sacked Patrick because, even if Harrison Butker made the field goal, we'd still get the ball, have, timeout available no matter how much time we had. But no, he missed it, and we're our, uh, on our 43, uh, ready to drive. No, on our 33, ready to drive with one timeout, 59 seconds. That's a lot of time to do something, especially when you were moving on this defense because defense is getting tired of being on the field because of how much the Chiefs offense is sputtering. And once again, D'Amico and his time management, Nick Caley with his play calls, CJ with his awareness, it led to nothing. And I know you're getting the ball after halftime, but you still got to score. I don't know what they're doing, why they're settling for nothing before the half when you have good field position, when you know you got to score against a team like this that can come back at any moment with a Hall of Fame quarterback, with a Hall of Fame coach, offensive minded coach. So I don't know what the point is with not doing nothing, with just sitting on your ass and being like, okay, let's go into half. Let's adjust. When you know, even if you get the ball back after halftime, you might not do something, which we didn't do shit. So I hate this notion of let's not do nothing. It's pathetic, and that's what pisses me off about D'Amico with his time management. I don't know why they don't work on this. This happened last week, so I don't know why they didn't work on it this week. Especially when you know this is a must-win game in Arrowhead against a team that is hungry for a win. Because Kansas City, before they lost this game, I believe they said that they were on a either 4 or 5 game home winning streak. So when you hear that, you're thinking the worst already for this game because it's hard to go in Arrowhead and win. All right, third quarter. Yeah, third quarter was a shit show. Offensively overall, we had -2 yards overall. Let that sink into your head. We had total yards overall in the third quarter. Like I, at the end of this, I don't even know how we won. The third quarter was such shit from this offense that it's unbelievable that we won. CJ couldn't do nothing. This offensive line couldn't hold their own. The weapons weren't getting utilized right. The run game wasn't working. Nothing was working. Nick Caley looked like the terrified offensive coordinator he is. D'Amico looked ready to put his hands on his head to give up. Like it was just crazy to see how bad this offense did. I was literally here in my room, just ready for this game to end because I truly believe we were going to lose this game because of the third quarter, and we should have. I truly don't know how we did not lose this game because of how bad the offense did in the third quarter. It was straight 4 punts in all 4 drives in this quarter. Kansas City was sending heavy blitzes back and forth, back and forth. This offensive line couldn't hold their own. They were sending about 7 guys at CJ. He had no time to make a play. CJ took most of the sacks that he got in this game. There's times where he literally threw desperate passes. They were trying to call for intentional grounding. None of that happened, but it was still desperation passes. He could have easily got picked off. I'm surprised he did not get picked off, but these desperation passes were ugly. CJ looked like he was losing hope in this offensive line. I'm paranoid that he couldn't make a play, and most of the time he couldn't because this offensive line was just not holding their own because it's 7 guys. There's 5 guys on the line. You can't have 5 guys on the line hold 7 guys. That's too many. Uh, but I still blame Nick Caley on not executing or making any adjustments to these heavy blitzes. Like make something work. You see what's happening on the field. They're sending heavy blitzes with these 7 to 8 guys because they know you're not going to do shit because you're not adjusting. So why not adjust to what they're doing? So yeah, but because of the offense doing what they did all quarter, Patrick Mahomes and his Chiefs offense did what they do every single year. They kept driving down the field, scoring, driving down the field, scoring. Thankfully, this defense held their own. The only reason the defense gave up points was because bad situational yardage because the offense kept punting, giving the Chiefs good yardage. They were either on their own 40, own 50, about the 50-yard line. So of course you want the defense to stop them no matter what every game. But the defense can't hold their own every single second, especially when they're getting ran back on the field 1 minute later, 50 seconds later. It's one of those things where it's like you can't make the defense do everything. But the defense held their own. All they did was give up 10 points, 10 unanswered points, which led to the game being tied. And it stayed 10-10 all the way into the fourth quarter. So hats off to the defense for doing what they did, not letting Patrick Mahomes and this offense make crucial plays, make crucial moments, make crucial touchdowns. So, good job to the defense. Before before the fourth quarter started, Chiefs had their final drive in the third quarter. I think about like 1 minute left, but that third quarter final drive of the Chiefs offense started with Patrick Mahomes on, I believe it was second down. He had to escape out the pocket. He found his safety valve and Rasheed Rice along running along the right side of the field. Found Rasheed Rice, and you know what play we're going to get into. Jalen Petrie blew Rasheed Rice the hell up. I don't know what it is, but Jalen Petrie with that Guardian cap, Jalen Petrie looks like a Hall of Famer with that Guardian cap. He is Guardian cap Jalen Petrie. He is a weapon on the field. He just is a monster on the field. Like Jalen Petrie is crazy the way he plays. He is the hardest hitter on this team. Like Derrick Henry, I believe a couple weeks ago said Jalen Petrie is the hardest hitter he's ever faced. Uh, so that play, and honestly, Rasheed Rice looked like he died on that play. I don't know how he got up. I don't know how he started the next play, but the way Jalen Petrie knocked him out, I'm not gonna lie, it looked like Rasheed Rice was out of it. And play right after that happened, another exciting play happened for the Texans. It was it third down? Yeah, it was third down. Patrick Mahomes had to run out of the pocket. Defensive line pressure getting him through a big desperation pass. Like you could see, he heaved it, hoping for a prayer. Threw it to, let me see, was it? Yeah, it was Hollywood Brown. Deep past Hollywood Brown, but Kamari was right in front of him. Saw it, man. Kamari picked it off. Beautiful interception by Kamari. Beautiful, great momentum. Um, and on to the fourth quarter. We got the ball. We got the ball fourth quarter on our side of the field. So you're already like, okay, we got momentum. This defense did what they could. Got an interception. Offense, it's your turn to make do. It's tied 10-10. It's the fourth quarter. You got to make your plays happen. First drive, fourth quarter, they didn't do shit. Stupid plays. Uh, a lot of the CJ took that one sack where he got hurt. He did get hurt. The way he got thrown down, he did make a first down pass. I believe it was Higgins. Yeah, he threw that one dart to Jane Higgins for a first down. Then we got to a third and three. We did some like toss back to Jalen Noel. It didn't go nowhere. We lost yardage on the play and had a punt, and it was just pissing us off on how bad this offense looked. Like we weren't going to win this game because of this offense. Chiefs get the ball uh, at their own 31. Yeah, at their own. No, no, they didn't get that at the 31. They got it about, I think, at their own 20, but they were driving a little bit. Patrick Mahomes was using his legs. Then they got to a third and 10. Yeah, they got to third and 10. Patrick Mahomes used his legs. Got to the about. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, he got to their own 31, which was a 9-yard running play. And because they're at their own 31, you're going to think, okay, they're going to punt it. They're going to punt it because they know how bad this offense is doing. They know that their defense can stop our offense because of how bad we've been doing. I don't know what was going through Andy Reid's mind, but he went for it on fourth and one, and it led to an incompletion, a beautiful incompletion by Derek Stingley. Stingley is an all-pro cornerback. He got his money for a reason. So he broke up the pass, turnover on downs, and it was a great momentum drive for us, for the defense to stop them on that fourth and one. And because we're at their own 31, the offense looked bad again. Once again, we started stuttering, but We made our yardage. Then on 3rd and 3, the pressure got to CJ. Chris Jones was on CJ's ass. I don't know how CJ got out of it, but CJ ran to the right side of the pocket, was running, darted it to Jaden Higgins, and in some tough coverage. So great play by y'all too. A few plays later, Woody Marks got an 8. It was 2nd and 8. Woody Marks got a good first down with an 8-yard rushing play, uh, and then Woody went down. We were like, "Oh crap, Woody's down. What are we doing now? What are we gonna make?" Then you see, as I said, after Woody got hurt, you see number 33 run on the field, and you're just already pissed off. You're just already like, "Oh, here we go, Dare." We didn't think we'd see Dare ever again, but Dare's back on the field. Dare is a captain for a reason. He has to be on the field because he is the backup running back to Woody and to Nick Chubb. I wish we had Joe Mixon, but it is what it is. Uh, but it's 10-10. We're on Chiefs 5-yard line, first and 5. Yeah, first and 5 on their goal line, and run up the middle by Dare Gumbawale, touchdown. And even Chris Collinsworth was on the booth saying, "Oh, like I said, they never executed any plays like this with Dare, so he might not do much. He might not be executed right." And it was Dare right after he said that crap, touchdown. So 17-10, great drive, great plays by CJ, good calling by Nick Cayley, good execution by the offensive line. Next drive, Chiefs once again. Chiefs on this next drive, they only made 4 plays happen, and that was it. And why do I say that? Because first down incompletion, second down incompletion, and third down nothing happened. Once again, there's another incompletion. This defense was holding their own in the fourth quarter when Patrick Mahomes can make plays, make anything happen. Then on fourth down on their own 41, Chiefs got to go for it again because I believe there's only like 5 minutes left. So they're down a touchdown. So they got to go for it. They're just trying anything to work. Fourth down, Patrick's in shotgun, hikes the ball. You see Will Anderson coming in from the right side of his edge. He's pushing his way to get to Patrick. He bothers Patrick enough to where Patrick threw it to Rasheed Rice, and it was in Rasheed Rice's hands, but he dropped it, and another turnover on down. Uh, once again, this offense, we're on their own 41, and we're not making nothing happen, and we punt again. Like, this is where I'm telling y'all, like, we can't win crap if the offense keeps doing this. When your defense, this number one overall defense, this historic defense, is doing so much for you, but yet you're not doing anything. Like, I don't understand what. Like, we need to. I don't know what it is. Maybe with these upcoming games that are going to happen, maybe this offense can find their own because we are playing weaker defenses. Knock on wood. But we need this offense to step up when key situations happen like this one. We have good field position, but once again, after a turnover on down, we punt it. But Tommy Townsend with his clutch punts, he punted it, I believe, all the way to their 4 or 5 yard line, and the defense once again. Uh, the defense once again. It was in just it was in just 2 plays. The first play was an incompletion. I don't remember, but the first play nothing really happened much. But the second play, Patrick Moses in shotgun, hikes the ball. He sees Kelsey over there on his right side, down the field. Throws it to Travis Kelsey. He's pretty open. I'm not even gonna lie. There's coverage on him, but he's pretty open. He catches it, bobbles it in the air though, because good he doesn't have good handle on the ball. Loses the ball because he gets hit in the chest by Miles Bryant. Great hit by Miles Bryant, and Aziz Al-Shaair catches it. Great interception by Aziz with his awareness, with his leadership on this defense, knowing when to make a play. And I believe that was his first interception since I think it's at 2021. That's crazy. That's crazy to know that's his first interception since 2021. Uh, After that interception, just it's already at a point where we know we won this game. But we say Texas, this offense is back on the field. Stay running the ball down their throats, killing the clock. With about 50 seconds left, we kick a field goal. It's 2010. Game's pretty much over, and Chiefs get the ball back. They move down the field, just trying whatever they can, and game clock over. Game over. Texas win 2010. Texas move up to the 7th seed. Beautiful, beautiful game by this defense. Good game by this offense, but once again, they need to do better, especially when we got the playoffs coming up soon, and we need to stay in the playoffs at the seventh seed or move up because we don't know what the Jags are going to do. We don't know how the rest of the seeds are going to do, whether it be the Chargers or whether it be the Bills, because the Chargers and the Bills, they don't look that good. Yeah, the Chargers beat the Eagles, but the Eagles, I don't know what's up with the Eagles. They look like crap. The Bills, they struggled against the Steelers just because of no, not the Steelers. The Bengals. They struggled against the Bengals, but still won because the Bengals have a terrible defense. So I believe one of those two teams with the Chargers and Bills can somehow maybe lose one of these weeks. Texans can move up because the Texans got Arizona coming up this Sunday, and Arizona is 3-10. So hopefully this can be a game that the offense can adjust to each other, get comfortable with each other, because Arizona doesn't got a great defense. So work together, make stuff happen because once you get to the playoffs, you need to be ready. You can't just let this defense get their ass back on the field, get their ass off, like on and off the field. Like you can't make this defense do more than they should, but they are holding their own. That's why they are the number one defense. But it's still, CJ needs to get his act together. He needs to look like I'm not even saying look like your rookie self. I'm saying look like a competent quarterback that you are. Like make plays happen. You got your all pro wide receiver. You got good weapons overall. This offensive line is holding their own. The only reason that they struggled in this game is because Chris Jones is a monster. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. They are a Super Bowl defense for a reason. So I'm giving credit still to the offensive line. They still held their own. 3 sacks compared to last year in the playoffs. I believe our offensive line with trash ass Larry Tunzel, I believe they gave up 8 sacks. So from 8 sacks compared to 3 sacks, we did better this year. But overall, like we're in a moment now that now we won. We're 8-5. We were literally 3-5 5 weeks ago, and we're on a 5 game winning streak. This is just so much momentum. Uh, we got Arizona coming up. We got Las Vegas coming up. We got the Chargers coming up, and then we got the Colts once again coming up. And honestly, I believe we can win out with this defense. Hopefully, the offense steps up. I believe we can win out, and I believe we will be in the playoffs, and I believe we will be a higher seed. The now 9-4 Jags defeated the now 8-5 Colts. Darren Jones went down, so honestly, I think Colts are done for. They bring in and sign Philip Rivers, but who the hell knows how he'll do? Uh, but because of the Colts losing, we're tied with them. The Colts are in the hunt, and we moved up because we beat them. So we're 7th seed. They're in the hunt. The Chiefs, like I said, they have a 12% chance of getting in, so they're kind of done for, especially after the Chargers won Monday night against the Eagles, surprisingly. Uh, but yeah, guys, this is overall all I got. Great win by Houston. Like I said, we got Arizona coming up this Sunday. Arizona and Jacoby Brissett are just a heavy passing team, so this defense got to be ready for that. But yeah, overall, I'll make a video for that coming up soon. But overall, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and comment anything you want to comment, and I'll talk about it in the next video. Thank you for watching. This is HOU Bullcast. This is Aaron. Thank you once again. Y'all have a blessed weekend. Y'all not weekend. Y'all have a blessed week. Y'all have a blessed weekend coming up. And let's go Texans. Let's get to where we need to get.